Dr Reena here. I'm a dental specialist and founder of RW Perio, located at 75 Harley Street. Welcome to my podcast, Life and Smile, where we talk about everything dental, lifestyle, business, and much more. Every episode, I'm joining conversation with a specialist expert in their chosen field, who give us a behind-the-scenes glimpse into their daily regime, career turning points, and an insider look at what they can't live without. As a businesswoman myself, it's so inspiring to hear how people have built their careers and shattered those glass ceilings. So let's get the conversation going. Dr. Reena here, and welcome back for another insightful and what is due to be another hugely inspiring episode of Life and Smile. I can't believe we're in our 5th season, and your incredible feedback on the conversations we've been having so far has been phenomenal. Thank you to all of our dedicated listeners, both new and of course those of you who've been joining us since the first episode. Today, I wanted to turn the topic towards an industry I'm so privileged to be a part of, which is dentistry. Today, I'm joined by an industry name who will surely need no introduction to many. After graduating with distinction from Guy's, King's and St Thomas's Institute of Dentistry, Dr Richard Marques is a renowned celebrity dentist who cares for some of the most celebrated smiles in showbiz and beyond. Dr Richard, welcome to Life and Smile.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. So we mentioned a little bit about your background in the intro, and you've treated so many complex dental cases very successfully, from including restorative cases, aesthetic, implant dentistry. But let's just take a step back and start from the beginning. So how did your journey start? What was kind of sparked your interest in dentistry and then setting up your own clinic?
Well, I think it's quite interesting that I'm from a family of dentists, and my grandfather was actually the first. He came from Portugal, and he studied here in Durham, where he met my grandmother, who's not a dentist. And then my father, uncle, and mother were all in the same dental school at UCL,
Wow,
which used to have an undergraduate dental school.
Yes.
So they were all there together. That's when my father and mother met. So it really is in the family. And I used to kind of shadow my father, watch what he was doing. And he always loved his job. He absolutely loved his job, right until he's retired now. But right until he stopped working, he always loved his job. And I just thought, I want to be like that. I want to do this. I want to do something that's really helping people. And I want to have that passion and joy that he had. And it really, that kind of inspired me. There was a while where I was thinking, what other things might I do? But I thought, I'm not going to be a lawyer because I don't like conflict and arguments. And then I thought about medicine as well. But then I thought, dentistry really does appeal, especially the way my father ran his own practices, so I'd seen him do that successfully in building a team. He loved that as well. And, it really interested me in also kind of pursuing that path, but in my own way.
Yes. So inspiring. So it was kind of watching your dad and seeing the way he was building the clinic, treating his patients. What about the clinical side? So when you used to observe the kind of treatments he was doing, did you also find that inspiring? Was there any particular things that drew your interest?
It was really interesting to see how practical it is, and as strange as it sounds, seeing the dentistry, seeing the injections, all those kind of things, I actually thought, wow, this is amazing. It's something that you really need to have a kind of involvement in, and also that kind of being gentle and the rapport he had with his patients. His patients really loved him,
Yes.
and he always had a lot of fun in his team.
Right.
Everyone was, having a great time, and it was a great atmosphere. And I realized that was his second home, where he spent even more of his time.
Yeah, maybe first home.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was pretty amazing, and he kind of built practices from the ground up, several practices.
Right,
so
okay.
that was amazing.
So then did you know from quite a young age that, okay, yes, you wanted to do dentistry, but you definitely wanted your own place? Was that quite a key aim for you?
Well, it's really interesting. My grandfather had his own practice,
Right.
and my father also had several practices. Even my uncle had some practices. None of them inherited their practices. One of the
Right.
things in our family was you can kind of have observation and mentoring, but you should start your own. And I think that's great, and that worked a lot better for me, because I was concerned about kind of being in the shadow of my father, you know, because he's a huge character and he's extremely successful and he, you know, did many great things, but I also wanted to carve out my own thing, and he also wanted to do that, you know, from his father. So this way works a lot better, in my opinion, you know.
For sure. And so then you graduated, and then did you think about getting a practice straight after, or what was your sort of journey? Did you set up a squad, or did you kind of...
Yeah, so I started straight after doing, firstly, obviously, NHS practice, mixed practice. I did a bit of work with my father, with my uncle, and then I did locuming, which I really enjoyed, actually, to try and see different aspects of dentistry and travel the country. Then I kind of developed an interest, obviously, in private dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, as I started to mix that together. And I started doing courses, whatever courses I could. And my uncle, especially, Michael, who's a dentist, he was quite into private dentistry. He'd also worked on upholstery before.
Right.
And he said, look, you know, these are some key courses you should do. And he said these are the important things. And he was really big on, like, occlusion. And he told me, like, you need to learn all about occlusion. And then he said, I was always saying to him, just teach me. And he said, you'll learn. But you know, these things you kind of pick up once you do the courses and you put them into action.
Yes.
So that's how it works. And then, you know, I started to kind of build my confidence in restorative, cosmetic and private dentistry. And that's when I thought, okay, I'm ready to do my own practice, which was in 2011. So I graduated 2005 and I started the practice in 2011. So it's a relatively short period from graduating to starting the practice, which worked great for me. But, you know, I would say to people, do it as early as you're ready. But, you know, of course, everybody's different. And, you know, some people, obviously, they want to do specialising, or if they want to work in hospital for a bit, then it may take a bit longer. Yeah. No, I think you built your experience, and I think that's sometimes the key thing, is getting that confidence, and you can only do that with experience and courses and everything else. So no, I think super inspiring. So now, I mean, you're treating some of the most you know, well celebrated and celebrities. I often turn on the TV and I'm like, oh, there's Dr. Richard again, or you know, on social media. So you kind of are the go-to for many of these individuals, and you're obviously in front of the camera a lot. So yeah, give us a few tips in terms of, you're super confident, you're always so polished. I know the listeners can't see you right now, but you always look immaculate. And yet you're running a clinic, seeing patients back to back. So what are your tips on sort of always being so polished in front of the camera? Yeah, I think it's something you learn, and I do think, you know, anybody can learn. And I think the key is to actually be yourself as much as you can and relax as much as you can. It's easier said than done, but I remember when I had the first TV appearance I ever did, and that was Channel 5 News.
Right.
And I thought, I'm going to memorize a textbook and I'm going to regurgitate it on the television. And they said, we have the statistics already, and this is not really what we're looking for. We're actually looking for someone to come and comment on it, and a dental expert, and we're looking for someone to kind of break it down in a way that the viewers can understand. So I realised also it was a good way to communicate a dental message, and it's a good way to get the information out to the people, you know. It's amazing how many people don't know, or certainly didn't know, about the basics of sugar intake, you know, regular brushing, dental cleaning. We take it for granted because we know it. but it's incredible how many people don't know hidden sugars, We think
agree.
everybody knows, but really they don't.
I know we see it all the time at the clinic with sort of brushing technique and people not being aware of the angle they need to use their toothbrush, all those kind of things, importance of interdental cleaning. And you're right, I think through media you can really hit the mass audience and get those really key messages out there. Completely agree. So kind of in the same respect, like over the time since you started your clinic to where we are now, definitely things like social media, digitalization have massively, I'm sure, changed since you first set up. Do you feel like today, using those technological skills, etc., do you feel like it's been a benefit? Has that changed your patient base, the way you work?
I think there's obviously social media, and then there's traditional media, and obviously there's television, and then there's journals. There's different aspects of kind of communicating your message, and all of them are important. And like you said, they do change a lot. I remember initially it was a lot on Twitter was really popular, which is now X, which is still popular. Yeah. But then other things came along the way, like Instagram, now TikTok, things I still don't understand, like Snapchat. And different mediums come along, and then there's still always print media, and then there's digital media as well. So I think it's actually about building your profile, and also, as we talked about before, if you're able to get your personality across, because a lot of the dentistry is for a patient to be able to trust, or to be able to take a chance to go for that first examination, and if they can kind of find somebody they connect with, then that really does help. And it has helped also the before and afters to show, for cosmetic definitely, and restorative, like showing the visuals of the work. That's been amazing.
For sure.
Additionally, like somebody said to me, like, you could be the best cosmetic dentist in the world, but if nobody sees your work, how will anyone ever know?
Exactly.
And, kind of like with the celebrity smiles, I was lucky enough to meet some celebrity agents and be introduced to different people. And once I started kind of writing for the media, and then, once one celebrity comes, it is a small community, people do spread the word.
For sure.
And so then others may come, once they trust in you. And it's something I enjoy, and it's nice to see my work out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you ever get nervous because you're treating these big celebrities, and how do you find that kind of experience?
It can be nerve-wracking, definitely, especially the first time, because it's a pressure, and obviously, but you have to remember, they could also be nervous, and everybody's a patient, and they're putting their trust in you. One thing I've always thought is, even if you're a fan or a mega fan, try to concentrate on the work, because they're still expecting you to do like an exemplary job, and if you get distracted from the actual dental work, they do notice, so, they want, it's a balance between, saying, obviously, I love your work or whatever, but at the same time, we concentrate on this job, and they're here to be treated, and sometimes they just want a very human experience. We're all humans, and everyone wants to be treated in that way, with care, and in a gentle way.
Yeah. What would you say has been your proudest moment in your career so far? Was it when you're setting up the practice? Was it kind of, what would you say you look back on so far and be like, okay, I was super proud of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of proudest moments for me. There was around 2019, the BDA picked me as one of their cover stars for their prospectus, and kind of like that meant a lot to kind of single me out as a kind of leader in the profession, and someone for people to kind of be inspired by.
Yes.
So that was a really great moment, and I'm still a big fan of the VDA, you know.
For sure.
I'm an expert member. Like I think they really do incredible work. So yeah, that's one thing. Obviously, setting up the clinic, that's amazing, and growing the clinic, and also like some of these TV appearances have been amazing, you know. And some of these podcasts as well.
Yeah, no, interesting conversations for sure. What about any goals on your agenda? What's next?
Yeah, well, I think I am obviously looking to kind of grow my dentistry and kind of be ever improving. And I think it's really interesting technology now, digital dentistry. Things are moving at a rapid pace, so it's really important to me to be able to still move with the dentistry and evolve. I do find like some dentists can get kind of caught in their ways, and I think it's important to be willing to learn. I do think our generations and the ones beyond us are really good at that, you know, lifelong learning, and I think it's important to keep up to date and keep on moving with what happens in dentistry. So I find that really exciting, you know, and so, you know, I'm already very enthused about what's already happened, but there's so many new things to come. And there obviously will be more projects from me coming.
I'm sure you've got a long list of things on your plans. What would you, like, looking back as well, like, would you do anything differently if you looked back, or any advice you'd give yourself or your younger self?
Yeah, I think I wish someone had been there to teach me the basics of running a clinic from day one. And it's quite interesting because I watched my father, so it wasn't as if I had never seen anyone do it before. But there's a lot of things that I learned over the time of running a business, which is, you know, how to have a team, how to kind of build a good team, good relations within the team, how to also manage suppliers, you know, dental labs, dental materials, how to kind of fix things in the practice. There's so many things that I had no idea about.
I completely agree. I mean, dentistry is a business, and I think to date, in terms of the undergraduate teaching, you still don't get taught about business. You get taught about communication and clinical side of things, but the actual business side, exactly how to work with labs. I remember when my husband Neil, when I first started doing dentistry, and then we set up our clinic, etc. He goes, "What do you mean you don't know how the chair works or how to fix things? You know, why is that not a part of the dental curriculum?" And I completely agree with you. I mean, I do think there is a need to teach us about everything and problem solve, and that side of dentistry is so important to learn about, for sure.
Exactly. Even accounts, like the majority of dentists have no idea how to read a set of accounts, what they mean. It's like a foreign language, you know, and it's a relatively basic thing that could definitely be taught in a much better way, you know, and also how to kind of what costs are important, and where to invest, marketing. There's just so many things. So yeah, it's something that I'd be interested also to kind of hand back, you know, and,
definitely
to the younger generation. And I wish that I had learned more before I started, but I learned it as I went along.
Yeah, exactly. Problem solve as you go along. Learn on the job. And you know, you've achieved so much, and you're still so driven, and you still want to achieve so much more. What keeps you going? Do you have a mentor that you turn to? Obviously, you mentioned your family, but what inspires you, and who do you admire?
I think it's one really great thing about, you know, the time that we live in now is you can find mentors that you haven't even met, you know, through podcasting, through YouTube, and through different mediums, reading articles, and you can find these like incredibly inspiring business people. You know, I find Richard Branson to be amazing, James Dyson, you know, from British entrepreneurs, and also a lot of the American entrepreneurs like Bill Gates and things like that. But and the dentists in America as well. So it's really interesting that you can at least gain some knowledge, and you can not just pick up books, but there's a lot of information available. So I think you can have mentors that you don't even meet now, because their voice can be speaking to you, and you can pick up all sorts of information. You pick up a little thing here and there, and that can just change your mindset and put it on the right path.
Definitely. I think sometimes it is those interactions with the contrasting industries where you learn the most. And I sometimes find, with dentistry, it's really easy to have just a group of friends who are all dentists. But it's when you interact, and definitely from our Life and Smile podcast, hearing other people's stories, you can learn so much from them. So for sure. And day to day nowadays, so what's your typical day for Dr. Richard? Is it kind of clinics, managing, going media appearances? Do you have a typical day?
I do wake up quite early.
What's your usual wake up? What time does your alarm go off?
My alarm goes off at 5 a.m.
Wow. You're part of the 5 a.m. club.
Doesn't mean I'm always up exactly at 5 a.m., but I like to get up. I like to kind of listen to some things, read some things. I like to take my time to get ready and be in the right mindset. I often do personal training or gym in the morning before I go to work. And then I'll have, for me, I have my to-do list mostly in my head. I do write notes down, but I have quite a good memory, so I'll have a to-do list in my head.
That is super impressive. Do you not find that stressful to have to remember everything? Or
I don't, but I know many people would. But another thing I use the diary. So I find if I put a time in the diary to do the task, that works well for me.
Yes.
So it's not just a list without a time on it. If you're
you're scheduling it in.
And then you feel, okay, by this time I want to have done that task as much if I can, and I find that really good. So I'll have sometimes several tasks listed in my diary, which aren't appointments but are things that I want to get done. And that works really well for me. And I think we talked before, I even schedule my social things in my diary.
I know we have. In your podcast we were talking about that, which I actually think, because everyone's so busy nowadays, you do have to schedule in both the work and play side of life, otherwise you miss out. And then, how many days are you on clinic? How many days do you sort of...
So it can be 5 to 6 days a week. I still work quite a lot. I am a workaholic. But, I do love my work, and, I'm really dedicated to my patients. And it's really important to me also that patients feel they can reach out to me. So, I will email my patients back and try and allow them to have communication, especially if they're undergoing a larger treatment. Yeah. I think that really is important, that the patient feels that they've been guided along the journey and they feel kind of cared for in that way. Every patient wants to be thought of as if they're your only patient.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have to try and make them feel like that. But,
Definitely.
Obviously we do go above and beyond, and we are giving them attention and they're not forgotten about. So it's just making sure that they feel that. And by the time, usually when they get through the journey with me, they say, you were so caring from beginning to an end. You put me at ease, you guided me, you made me feel confident. And that, to me, it's the whole thing, the whole journey through the treatment. It's not literally, you had a good appointment, it was a good smile. It's more, they felt comfortable from day one to the end, and they want to keep coming back, hopefully.
No, I agree. I think it's that attention to detail that makes all the difference. How do you slot in then time for media appearances and things like that? Do you have to be quite dynamic with your diary?
You do. Sometimes it's strange with TV, especially live TV. That can happen at the very last moment, and there are some things I missed out on, and I really, but they will say, have no regrets.
For sure.
And sometimes, obviously patient work, you have to prioritize it.
Definitely.
But then again, there's been some opportunities that have just come out of nowhere, and I've been lucky enough to have and to accomplish, and I've been able to fit it in, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah, no, I think it's always difficult to try and pick and choose. You always have to say no to some things, I think.
Exactly. You can't do everything.
You can't do everything.
Even if you want to.
Exactly. One of my favourite questions for all of our guests on the podcast is 3 things that are part of your sort of mini survival kit. 3 things that you sort of always carry around with you, or at your desk or in the clinic. What would they be?
So I think number 1 is my coffee.
Yes, you've got one right in front of you.
I have one right here. I used to have a coffee and espresso in work and one by the bed.
Wow, okay.
So that just shows how much I love coffee. I'm passionate about coffee. I think it's amazing. I love the smell, and I love amazing quality coffee. There's some incredible coffee places springing up in London.
What's your top place right now?
I like Hagen
Yes.
on Marylebone High Street, and Watch House.
Yes, Watch House is so busy, isn't it? Every time you walk past,
they are incredible.
Yeah.
And obviously people know Monmouth, it is still one of the original best. Yeah, those kind of places are like elevating the coffee experience.
Yeah.
And for me, it's a joy. And then another thing for me is my AirPods.
Okay.
And that really means, like, for me, music. I'm a big listener of not only podcasts, but music. I love music, and I love to discover new albums, new artists.
Any particular genre or a mix?
You know what? It's an absolute mix, as often people are. But I'm actually loving the Sabrina Carpenter album at the moment,
Nice.
which people might think, this is pretty crazy. But, I like such a mixture of music. I listen to jazz, quite a lot of jazz, and obviously classical, depending on what mood you're in. And I like soul. That's one of my favorite music is soul. And I feel like that's like got that mellow, cool vibes, I absolutely love music. I've seen Lady Gaga in concert. I love music. And then my final thing, I would say, let's think about this. This is a difficult one.
So I can see your coffee. You probably got your AirPods in your pocket.
I would say, like, if it's not necessarily a desk, but I would say my gym kit, like gym or my Third Space membership.
Yeah, membership card.
Because for me, like, fitness had been a real game changer. And I actually started when I was 18, as soon as I started university. Obviously, there was sport at school, and I was good at swimming and long-distance running and baseball.
Right.
And then once I started university, at 18, I joined a gym straight away. I had a gym program. I couldn't afford a trainer at that time, and my diet was terrible. But I was still in good shape, actually, at 18.
You can get away with it, then.
I was
That's
in great
the problem.
shape. And I thought that would continue. But, I kind of put that fitness journey actually helped me get through university, through exams, through the beginning of work, through starting my clinic. And I actually find the more high pressure I'm under, the more I need to go. And actually, the other thing I find is during the winter, it's equally as important. People feel like the summer is the time, the summer body, which I do understand. But I think the winter, when it gets darker, you actually need it even more. It boosts your serotonin, and it boosts. You feel great, and you can, you're carrying your own sunshine. And so that, for me, has been something amazing, and it's something that I'll always keep on. That's what they say is training for life, fitness for life, and I do think that is really important
For sure, and you've just come from your PT right now,
Exactly.
so you're
So I am
definitely a man
living
of your
it.
word. Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. Richard, thank you so much. That was such an inspiring conversation, and I'm sure our listeners really, really enjoyed listening to that as much as I did. What's the latest, kind of, so what's coming up? What's on your radar? Where can we all follow you?
Yeah, so I do have a few social media channels. My Instagram is at Dr_Richard _. So it's
like
basically
it.
Dr. Richard with a few underscores in there. I have my website, www.drrichardlondon.com. And also I have a LinkedIn and Twitter. So a few different mediums. You can follow me on YouTube as well. And obviously the Dr. Richard podcast, which
Absolutely.
is on Spotify and Apple.
Yes,
You can listen
absolutely.
to the episode with me and Reena.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that for sure.
The other way round.
And the other way around, yeah, role reversal today. No, for sure. I think it's been a great conversation and looking forward to many more coming up. So thank you again.